Wenn der Sohn des Herzogs überlebt...
Kein Atreides überlebt.
My Lord, Sie gaben der Hexe ihr Wort. Sie sieht zu viel.
Ich sagte, ich füge Ihnen kein Leid zu. Und das tue ich auch nicht. Aber Arrakis ist der Arrakis. Und die Wüste holt sich die Schwachen. Meine Wüste. Mein Arrakis. Mein Dune.
Yeah, I will start with my first and most obvious question. Do you still like sand?
We had sand everywhere, and the sand was very generous with us. I will tell you this: the desert. When you shoot in the desert, of course, it's like shooting in the ocean. I mean, you have to deal with what you get from nature. And I was dreaming to have like a very specific look for the film, which is like very bright, harsh, bright white skies, and with a lot of wind. And because there was, I didn't want the desert to be romantic. I wanted the desert. I wanted to receive the harshness and the roughness of the desert and the true desert, not some kind of pretty desert. I didn't want the desert to be pretty, and I wanted Greg Fraser and I were looking for very specific kind of light. And lucky enough, we went in a season where we were supposed to get this, and we did get it, and that came with a lot of wind, little sandstorms, and we were so happy because the desert was alive and exactly as it was. So yes, I'm not tired of sand. We had sand everywhere. Yes, but it was so fun to do. Seriously, it's like we were like kids in a candy store. It was crazy. It was so fun to do. I mean, if you ask me what is my favorite part of the shooting, it's definitely the desert. It's like, and I think that all the crew, frankly, we say the same thing. It was difficult, but we had so much fun.
And then the second most obvious question, why Dune? What attracted you so much to the novel?
It's like, I think that when I read it as a boy, I was deeply touched by Paul's journey, how he feel isolated, how he feel alone in the world, and how he find comfort finally in the contact with another culture, where he finally find himself a part of his identity. He become at peace with a part of his identity, being in a relationship with the people from another culture. I thought that was a very powerful idea. And the relationship of Paul with the desert, where he feels strangely home, where he feels that it could be a good place to live here. And that's a feeling that I had very deep inside me when I was a kid. That feeling that the infinity was bringing some kind of peace, inner peace inside me. That the infinity was forcing myself to be in contact with emotions or things that I had to deal with, and then in order to evolve. And I thought that it's something that stayed relevant through the years. I was also in love with the way Frank Herbert described ecosystems. I was like, when I was young, and still today, I was like fascinated by biology, the study of life, of nature, and the way Frank Herbert used biology to dramatize, in a way, biology to create this world is like, I thought it was so brilliant, and still today I'm fascinated. Every time I just open the first page, start to read, and I'm into it. I just dive. I deeply love this book. It's like it has so many layers, and every time I read it, I discovered something new about the book that will reflect something new about myself, you know. And I can, yeah. Why Dune? Because it's part of me.
So let's say it's a kind of childhood dream.
Yes. But when I say childhood, I would say early teenage years. I mean, I remember doing storyboards of Dune with my best friend at the time, that is still one of my best friend today. We were dreaming about Dune, doing drawings together. How could be this movie? What would it will look like to have Paul Atreides on a sandworm or things like that? We were yeah.
And did most of the ideas could they be realized as you wanted?
It's like doing Dune was like doing archaeology. I was going back in time, going in the dirt, trying to find back the ideas and going deep. And so I will say that a lot of them survived time, and a lot of them are in the movie. There's our new images too. The new images came from the adaptation, the idea that I had to transform the book in order to make it accessible to people who wouldn't had read the book, the people who didn't know nothing about the book. I needed to take care of them. So that required new stuff. So I let's say that it's a combination of old dream and the needs of the adaptation.
Irgendwas geschieht mit mir. Irgendwas erwacht in mir. Ich kann es nicht kontrollieren.
Was hast du gesehen?
Paul. Es wird einen Kreuzzug geben.
Träumst du oft von Dingen, die genauso passieren, wie du es geträumt hast?
Ja.
But now, speaking of people who don't know the books and people also who know the books, you work with a lot of visions and flash forwards in the movie or in the first part. Weren't you afraid that they would foreshadow too much for both the audience and the book connoisseurs? Especially with the ending you choose, and especially with the knowledge that this movie has not finished the first book.
No, I think that the beauty of the Paul's vision is that they are confusing. But in the book, when Paul has dreams, as visions, is like they are like dreams that are he has to decipher. A bit like real dreams, you know, when you dream that it's like you have strong images that can really moves you, but still they are like enigmas. And that's the way we approach I approach Paul's visions, that he has dreamed that he needs to decipher, to understand. Sometimes those dreams are emotional dreams. They are not logic. So it means that the meaning of it needs to be you need to dig, you need to work in order to understand the dreams, and the meaning of it sometimes is very difficult to understand. So he cannot what he see, what he feel. It's more like an instinct, intuitions about the future. So it's like, because of course if Paul had seen clearly the future, it could have been a bit boring for the character and for the audience, but it's not the way it happens. The future is in movement. All the decision is taking in the present can influence the future, and this future is strange because it comes like ghost talking to him, giving clues about what could happen, and he had to interpret those dreams. He has to figure out what the dreams mean. And sometimes the meaning comes too late. So that's the way I approach it. So the character still needs to climb the mountain, even if he dreams about a mountain. He needs to figure out a way to climb it.
And now, in our times now, is Dune more than ever a warning about climate change, or already the one we are surely headed for? Do you think that at some point, like the Fremen, we will be forced to go with the flow of the nature?
I think that it's a big question, because I'm trying to be optimistic, but I think that it's getting late now, and that say on the tagline on the screenplay was adapt or survive, adapt or die. It's like we will need to adapt. Now it's time. We have to change our ways of living, and it's very difficult because the biggest the people that pollute the most are the most comfortable. They don't want to lose their comfort. They don't want to lose their luxury. But still, it's as societies, we for the generation of future, we have a big responsibility right now to change our ways of life. Now, not tomorrow, not in 10 years, not in 15 years. And even if we change everything right now, still it's late. So we'll need to adapt. We will need to change. We will need to adapt to survive. Definitely. And my big fear is that we are getting more and more into a movement of radicalization right now. And those climate change will create massive problems in several populations. And I think that I'm afraid of the violence that could happen in the future, because the world is in total disequilibrium, and the richest people are getting rich, and the poor, and we cannot go on like that. There's no too much disparity of richness, and it will be increased by climate change. And I think that at one point people will want to fight for nature, and that's going to be so I hope it will not happen, but it's yeah. The book can be quite prophetic about that, I think. So I hope it will not. I hope Herbert was wrong about that, but yeah.
Let's hope it will be an impressive and entertaining signal. Mr. Villeneuve, thank you very much. I think we are over, but thank you very much for the interview, and thanks for the answers.
Falls etwas passiert, wirst du Paul beschützen?
Mit meinem Leben.
Nur gemeinsam haben wir eine Chance.